You're listening to In-Depth SEO. In-depth conversations on how search, content, and AI really work.
Welcome to the SEO Deep Dive by Indepth SEO. I'm Leo.
And I'm Sarah.
Okay, so I have to be honest with you. I spent, a good chunk of my morning just going through the stack of research we have for today. The search engine land reports, the RF's data, all the white papers. And I had a bit of a moment.
Oh, no. A moment. A good one or a bad one?
A tiny, quiet existential crisis. Just for a second.
That doesn't sound good. Usually you're the optimist here. What brought on the doom and gloom?
It's this one number that just jumped out at me. 65%.
Ah, yes, that one.
According to the data we're looking at from late 2025, over 65% of searches now end without a single click, not one.
They end right there on the results page.
Right, and that's most of them. That's the majority of human curiosity on the internet, just stopping dead.
It is. It's what we've been calling the zero-click reality for a while now.
But I don't think we've really processed what that means. I mean, for 20 years, the whole deal, the unwritten contract of the internet was, I make great content, you, the search engine, index it, and in return, you send me traffic.
That was the deal.
I feed the robot feeds me visitors. It was a simple transaction. If 65% of people are just staying on Google, isn't that deal broken?
The deal isn't broken, Leo, but the terms and conditions have been rewritten in a language we're all still learning.
That's a nice way of putting it.
And I think that little bit of dread you're feeling, that's what every CMO, every content director, every small business owner is feeling right now. We are watching a fundamental decoupling of information from website visits.
But if I'm not getting visits, I'm not getting ad impressions, I'm not getting email signups, I don't get people into my funnel. If I'm just, feeding the Google robot or the ChatGPT robot or Perplexity for free.
Yeah.
Why should I even bother?
And that is the billion-dollar question, isn't it? Why bother?
Seriously, why not just pack it in?
The answer, and this is really what we need to unpack today, is that you don't really have a choice. We're moving from a game of getting traffic to a game of getting cited.
Getting cited?
You either feed the robot and get cited as the trusted source, the authority, or you starve the robot and you become invisible.
Invisible.
Completely. Because the user isn't going to scroll past that big convenient AI answer to find your little blue link on page 2. They're going to read the answer, trust it, and move on with their life.
So the only way to win is if you are the answer.
You have to be the answer, or at least a significant part of it.
Okay, so the goalposts haven't just moved. They're in a different stadium.
Right.
We are no longer playing search engine optimization the way we've understood it for decades.
No, we are officially in the era of AEO.
Answer engine optimization.
And GEO.
Yeah.
Generative Engine Optimization.
Right, which I know sounds like a lot of alphabet soup, but we're going to break that down. So today's mission, our deep dive, is all about that. It's exploring how to design content specifically for AI answers. We have to talk about how to stop writing for Google's 2015 algorithm, which, let's be honest, a lot of us are still doing.
Oh, absolutely. The habits are ingrained.
And we need to start writing for the AI reality of 2026.
Exactly. And this isn't just, high-level theory. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts. We need to cover the mechanics of how an AI actually extracts information, why you need to adopt a very specific answer-first writing style, and this is the part I really love, why being more human is actually your biggest technical advantage.
That sounds like a total contradiction. To please the robot, you have to be more human.
It is the great paradox of AEO. But I promise you, it is the key to everything.
All right, let's set the scene a little more. The landscape. We mentioned the zero-click stat, but there was another number in the research, this one from RF's, that really put a fine point on the pain for me.
I know the one you're talking about.
They found that AI overviews, those generated summaries at the top of Google, they reduce clicks to the organic results below them by roughly 34.5%.
Let's just pause on that for a second. That's a third. A third of your potential organic traffic vanished.
It's just gone. If you're a business and you rely on organic search, a 34% drop is paid you. It's a catastrophe. That's layoffs. That's slashing budgets.
It is. But we have to understand why it's happening. It's not malice on the part of the search engine. It's a fundamental change in the mechanism.
Okay, walk me through that mechanism change, because I think we all feel it when we use search now, but explaining it technically is It's a different beast.
Think about the old model. We called it retrieval.
Retrieval.
Let's use the library analogy. It's the best way to visualize this. In the old days, you'd walk into a library and you'd ask the librarian, I need to know about the best running shoes for people with flat feet.
And the librarian would point me to the health and fitness aisle.
Right. The librarian Google, in this case, would say, here is a list of 10 books that might have that answer. Go pull them off the shelf, read through them, and figure it out for yourself. That's retrieval. It retrieved documents for you.
And my job as a website owner was to make sure my book had the shiniest cover and the catchiest title. So you picked it first.
Exactly. You optimize for the click. You optimize for that shelf placement. But now, with Perplexity, Gemini, ChatGPT, we are in the synthesis era.
Synthesis.
Yes. Now, you walk into the library, you ask the exact same question. But the librarian doesn't point to the shelf.
What do they do?
The librarian, who has magically read every single book in the entire library.
A super librarian.
The super librarian, an AI. They look at you and say, oh, for flat feet, based on the consensus from the top 5 podiatry journals and thousands of user reviews, you'll want to look at the Brooks Adrenaline or the A6 Kayano. The Brooks offers superior cushioning, but the A6 has a more durable sole.
And I never even look at a book. I just take the answer and leave.
You never touch a book. The librarian synthesized a custom answer for you.
So the AI is acting like a smart research assistant. It's not just finding sources. It's reading them, understanding them, and writing a report on the spot.
Precisely. And because of that, the AI's core goal has changed. It has no incentive to send you away. Its goal is to answer you there, on the platform. The platform has become the destination.
Which brings us right back to my existential crisis.
Yeah.
If the platform is the destination, where does that leave me, the creator? You said this shifts the goal from visits to citations. What does that actually look like in practice?
Well, think about how you use these tools yourself. You ask a complicated question. The AI gives you a neat, tidy paragraph, and usually at the bottom there are little numbers or links.
The footnotes.
The footnotes. Now, you probably won't click that footnote. In fact, we know that 65% of the time you won't. But your brand, your information is being presented as the source of truth.
So visibility is the new traffic. Is that what we're saying?
In a way, yes. It's about mind share. It's about authority by association. If a user asks, what's the best CRM for a small business? And the AI says, HubSpot is widely recommended because of its free tier and user-friendly interface, HubSpot just won.
Even if the user doesn't click through to the HubSpot site right then.
Even then. Because the brand has been validated by the machine, which the user perceives as an objective authority, the seed has been planted.
But what about high-intent searches? When someone is actually ready to buy, do they click then?
That's when they click. When you are ready to pull out a credit card, you usually want to verify the source, you want to see the details, you click the citation, but, and this is the most important part, you can only click the sources that the AI trusted enough to cite in the first place.
So if you aren't in the synthesis, you don't even get a chance at the click.
You don't exist. It's a winner-take-most scenario. You're either the trusted source, or you're just noise in the training data.
And it's not just Google anymore. I think that's the other big mental shift we have to make.
Oh, absolutely. Platform fragmentation is huge.
For years, we were all obsessed with Google. It was the only game in town.
It was the monolith. Now you have users starting their product research on ChatGPT search. You have developers starting technical queries on Claude. You have academics and researchers starting on Perplexity.
So you have to optimize for all of them.
You have to think about all of them. But the good news is the underlying principles of AEO, of Answer Engine Optimization, they tend to apply across the board.
Okay, so let's define AEO properly. Let's make this concrete. If I'm a marketer listening to this right now, and I have to go explain AEO to my boss who still thinks keyword density is a thing.
Oh boy.
What do I say? How do I define it in a sentence?
The simplest definition is this. AEO is the practice of structuring your content so that AI systems can easily understand, extract, and cite it.
Understand, extract, cite.
Those are the 3 pillars. Traditional SEO was all about clicks, keywords, backlinks. The focus was getting to the top of a list. AEO is about credibility, clarity, and context. The focus is getting included in the generated answer.
Let's go back to the librarian analogy for a second.
Yeah.
If SEO is getting my book onto the front display table.
Right. SEO is trying to get your book on the new and noteworthy table right when you walk in the store. You want the cover to look great, you want a catchy title, you want people to walk by and just grab it. Click me, buy me.
So what is AEO in that analogy?
AEO is trying to get the librarian to memorize a specific paragraph from chapter 3 of your book.
Memorize it.
Yes. You want to make sure the information is so clear, so concise, so perfectly stated that when a customer asks a question, the librarian can recite your exact words verbatim.
Wow. That is a huge mental shift. Because if I want someone to memorize a paragraph, I'm not going to write a long, winding, flowery introduction. I'm
Exactly.
going to write something sharp, clear, and factual.
You're not trying to sell the whole book anymore. You're trying to make the information inside it so accessible, so portable that it's effortless for a third party to repeat.
This gets into the mechanics of how these models work. They don't read an article the way we do they?
Not at all. We read for enjoyment, for narrative. AI models parse for tokens. They look for patterns, for structured data. They extract and ingest. They are hunting for clear, unambiguous chunks of information that perfectly fit the shape of the user's query.
So if I write a blog post titled The Future of Digital Marketing, and I start with a 3-paragraph story about a marketing conference I went to in 2018,
The AI is going to struggle with that. It has to wade through all of that anecdotal noise to find the signal. And if your competitor has an article with the same title, but they start with, "The future of digital marketing is defined by A, B, and C," guess which one the AI is going to prefer?
the competitor. It's an efficiency game. The AI is lazy.
It's not lazy, it's computationally efficient. It's programmed to find the answer with the highest confidence score for the lowest processing cost. Your beautiful story is, to the machine, just expensive noise.
Okay, so let's get into the how. This is the practical part. We know we need to be the answer. How do we actually design our content to make sure the AI picks us? We have this concept in the outline called the answer-first strategy.
This is the single most practical, actionable change you can make to your content today. It's often called the inverted pyramid for AI.
The inverted pyramid. In journalism, that just means putting the most important information right at the top. The who, what, where, when, why.
Exactly. But for AI, we're taking it a step further. We're being much more prescriptive. There's a rule of thumb mentioned in the Zen Sciences report called the 40 to 60 word rule.
Okay, let's drill down on this. 40 to 60 words. Why that specific number? Why not 20 or 100?
It's a great question. It comes down to the user interface of the AI platforms themselves. Think about when you get an AI overview in Google or an answer from ChatGPT. You get that little summary box at the top.
The snapshot, the featured snippet.
Right. And physically, visually, on a mobile screen, that box can comfortably fit about 40 to 60 words before it has to add a read more button, or before the user has to start scrolling.
So we are literally writing content to fit the physical dimensions of the answer box.
We are writing for the box. The recommendation is to start every major section of your content, every H2, for example, with a direct self-contained answer that is 40 to 60 words long.
It's like a prepackaged citation block.
That's the perfect term for it. You are essentially creating a Lego brick of information that the AI can just pick up and slot directly into its generated answer. You are telling the algorithm, here's the authoritative response. You don't need to summarize this. I already did it for you.
That's brilliant. You're doing the synthesis work for the machine.
Yes. And by doing that, you massively reduce the risk of the AI misinterpreting your point, or worse, hallucinating and making something up.
This is very similar to the 2-sentence rule that Search Engine Land was talking about. Their advice was that your content must resolve the user's primary intent within the first 2 sentences.
I feel like every marketing team in the world needs to hear this. We, as writers, we love the wind-up. We love the fluff.
Oh, absolutely. In today's fast-paced, ever-changing digital landscape, it is more important than ever to consider the myriad factors
Just stop. AI hates that. It's what we call empty calorie content. It's just noise tokens. It costs the model computational power to process that, and it gains zero new information.
So instead of that, if my article is titled, "What is AEO?" I should just start with.
Answer Engine Optimization, or AEO, is the practice of structuring content for AI retrieval and citation. Boom. Definition first, question answered.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate for a second here. If I just give the entire answer away in the first 2 sentences, why would a human reader bother to stay on the page? Doesn't that kill my time on page metrics? Doesn't it just make for really boring reading?
That is a completely valid fear, and it's the #1 pushback I hear. But this is where the fan-out method comes into play.
The fan-out method.
You start short and direct with the answer. That's the core. But then you fan out. You go deeper.
Okay, so answer first, then what?
Then you add the context. You add the examples. You add the nuance, the history, the why this matters. This actually mirrors how large language models build their own understanding. They look for the core anchor concept first, and then they look for all the supporting details that connect to it.
So for the human reader, that first sentence just confirms they're in the right place. It tells them, yes, this page will answer your question. Then if they want the details and the proof, they keep reading.
Precisely. You aren't losing the reader, you're respecting their time, and you're respecting the AI's processing budget. It's a win-win.
Let's talk about formatting, because this seems just as important as the words themselves. I see a note here about making your content sniffable, which is a fun word.
It is a great word. Microsoft Advertising put out some fantastic guidance on this. The core idea is that AI looks for content that is snippable, meaning it's already broken down into logical, discrete, easily digestible components.
What does a snippable piece of content look like? Paint a picture for me.
It looks like high structure. It's the opposite of a giant wall of text. Imagine a blog post. Instead of just paragraphs, you have very clear H2 and H3 headers. But, and here's the key tactic, the headers shouldn't just be generic labels like introduction or key factors.
They need to be phrased as questions.
Yes, exactly. Phrase them as questions. What is answer engine optimization? How does AEO differ from SEO? Why does content formatting matter for AI?
Because that directly matches the kinds of queries a user is typing into the search box.
It's a perfect match. If the user asks, what is AEO, and your H2 tag literally says, what is AEO, that's a direct 1.1 correlation. The AI sees that as a very strong signal. Then, under that header, you don't just write a block of text, you use bullet points, use numbered lists.
And tables. I keep hearing that AI loves HTML tables.
It adores them. Think about it from the machine's perspective. A table is perfectly structured data. It's a clear relationship between row A and column B. It is infinitely easier for an AI to parse a product comparison table than it is to read 3 long paragraphs comparing the features of 2 different products.
So if I'm comparing, say, an iPhone 17 and a Samsung Galaxy Z, don't write an essay. Make a table.
Make a table. Feature, battery life. iPhone, 10 hours. Samsung, 12 hours. The AI can abstract that specific fact instantly and with very high confidence. If you bury that detail in the 4th sentence of paragraph 3, it might miss it or misinterpret it.
And this next one is a big one that I think a lot of designers are guilty of. Avoid putting critical text inside images.
Oh, this is huge. A massive mistake.
But wait, computer vision is incredible now. Can't GPT-4 and other models read the text in an image?
They can, yes. But it is expensive for the model to do so. It takes way more processing power and time to load an image, perform optical character recognition, OCR, and then extract the text, compared to just reading a simple line of HTML code.
So it all comes back to friction.
It's always about friction.
Yeah.
If you put your pricing chart in a pretty JPEG, you are adding friction. If you put that same data in an HTML table, you are removing friction. You're rolling out the red carpet for the crawler. If you want to be cited, you have to make it effortless. Don't bury the lead, and for heaven's sake, don't lock your data inside a picture.
Okay, so we have the answer first style, we have the formatting and the structure, but how do we know which questions we should be answering in the first place?
That's where question-based architecture comes in. You can't just guess what your audience is asking. You need a process for discovering those questions.
The go-to tool for a lot of SEOs is the People Also Ask box on Google, right?
People Also Ask is a goldmine, and you should absolutely be using it. But there was a really insightful tip from some of the Ahrefs and Reddit sources that I think is even more powerful.
Okay.
Analyze your sales calls and your customer support tickets.
Sales goals, not keyword research tools.
Exactly. Think about it. Keyword tools and People Also Ask give you the generic, high-volume questions that lots of people are asking. But your sales team, they are on the front lines. They're hearing the super specific, nitty-gritty, bottom-of-the-funnel questions and objections from real buyers.
That brings up a great point about specificity.
Right.
The Reddit source mentioned the difference between targeting a broad term like best CRM versus a very specific long-tail query.
This is the absolute key to winning citations in a competitive space. Let's imagine a hypothetical company. We'll call them Solosoft. They make CRM software specifically for individual freelancers.
Got it. Solosoft.
If Solosoft tries to write a blog post targeting the query best CRM, they are dead in the water.
They're competing with Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoho,
Yeah.
multi-billion-dollar giants.
Exactly. They will never rank, and more importantly, the AI will never cite them for that query because the overwhelming consensus in its training data says that HubSpot and Salesforce are the leaders. But what if Solosoft targets CRM for solo consultants needing invoice integration?
That is extremely specific.
It's hyper-specific. And that is where the opportunity is. Because if a freelance consultant asks an AI that exact question, I'm a freelancer, I need a CRM that can also handle my invoices, the AI scans its index for the best possible match. Salesforce might be too broad and complex, but Solosoft has written the definitive guide to exactly that problem.
So Solosoft wins the citation because they owned the very specific niche.
Specificity beats generality in the AEO world. It's all about being the big fish in a very, very specific pond.
I love that. It's so actionable. Don't just look at a spreadsheet of keywords. Go talk to your sales team. Find the weird, specific questions your customers are asking and answer those questions better than anyone else.
That's the strategy right there.
All right, let's shift gears a bit. We've talked a lot about content structure. Now I want to talk about keywords because there's this phrase you hear all the time now. Keywords are dead.
The marketers do love their drama.
We do. But is there any truth to it? Are keywords really dead?
No, not dead. But they have fundamentally evolved. We're moving from a world of strings to a world of things.
Strings to things? It sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. Break that down for me.
To understand this, we have to stop thinking like a writer for a minute and start thinking like a database architect.
Okay, I'm putting on my imaginary hard hat.
So in the old days of SEO, the keyword, or string days, Google was essentially doing a very sophisticated version of a word match. If you typed the string of letters JAGUAR into the search box, it looked for pages that contained that exact string of letters.
Right, and it didn't inherently know if you meant the animal, the car, or the old Mac operating system.
Exactly. It just saw the string. That's why we had to do things like keyword stuffing. We had to write Jaguar car over and over so the engine had enough context clues to guess which string we meant.
Okay, so that's strings. What are things?
Things are entities. An entity is a unique machine-readable concept in the AI's knowledge graph. Think of it like a unique ID in a massive database of the world. The AI has a unique ID for Jaguar, the car manufacturer, and a completely different unique ID for Jaguar, the animal.
So it's not matching words anymore. It's matching concepts.
It's matching concepts and, more importantly, the relationships between them. This is the crucial part. The AI's knowledge graph knows that entity A, Jaguar cars, has a relationship called is owned by, which links to entity B, Tata Motors. It maps the entire world of interconnected facts.
So entity optimization is about making sure the AI understands who I am as a brand or a person and what my place is in that giant map.
Yes, you want to become a recognized authoritative node in the knowledge graph for your specific topic.
How do we do that? How do I tell the robot, hey, I am this specific entity?
Consistency is number one. And this sounds so boring and basic, but it is fundamentally important. Use consistent naming conventions for your products, your brand, your people. Don't call your software the Super Tool 3000 on one page, ST3000 on another, and just the tool on a third.
Because the AI might get confused and think those are three different entities.
It might. Or, more likely, it just dilutes the strength of the signal connecting your brand to that concept. You have to be precise and consistent. You also need to link to your About page, use clear organization schema, which we'll get to, and basically just tell the AI over and over in a structured way, we are this entity and we are experts in this topic.
There was a stat from that October 2025 Search Engine Land report that said, entity-driven content improved the likelihood of being cited in an AI answer by over 35%.
That is a massive lift, and it's not from some secret trick. It's just from being clear about who you are and what you do. If you are sloppy with your nouns, the AI can't confidently map you to its graph. And if you aren't on the graph, you effectively don't exist when it's time to generate an answer.
It's interesting when we were talking about all these technical, machine-focused optimization, entities, knowledge graphs, structured data. But then we have this other huge factor in our outline that seems like the complete opposite, the human element.
The paradox.
The paradox. Let's unpack this. Because my first thought is, if we're writing for machines, shouldn't we sound like robots? Shouldn't we just use AI to write all our content for the other AIs?
Absolutely not. That is the single biggest trap you can fall into right now. It's the path to what researchers call model collapse.
Why? What's the danger?
Because AI models are trained on the existing internet. They have read everything. They know the average consensus answer to almost any question. If you use AI to generate generic, robotic content, you are just adding more of the same average noise to the system. You provide zero new value to the model.
You're just feeding it a slightly rephrased version of what it already knows.
Exactly. Imagine you're in a room full of people who all know that the capital of France is Paris. If you walk into that room and shout, "Hey everyone, the capital of France is Paris," nobody cares. You've added nothing.
But if I walk in and say, I just got back from Paris and I discovered this tiny little bakery on the left bank that makes the most incredible croissant I've ever tasted, that's new information.
That is information gain.
Information gain. That's the buzzword I'm seeing everywhere now.
It is the golden ticket in the AEO world. Information gain is, by definition, providing information that does not already exist in the AI's training data.
So, new stuff. Original stuff.
New original stuff, and where does that come from? It comes from humans doing unique human things. RRFs has a great framework for this. They categorize it into 3 areas: experience, experimentation, and effort.
Okay, let's break those down. What do they mean by experience?
It means actually doing the thing you're writing about. An AI cannot actually hike a mountain. It can't test a vacuum cleaner on dog hair. It can't navigate a difficult client negotiation. The folks at Exposure Ninja made a great point about this. AI can't generate a sentence like, "I tried this popular strategy and it failed miserably, and here's the mistake I made."
Right. It doesn't have lived experience. It can only synthesize what other people have written about their experiences.
Precisely. So when you, as a human, use phrases like "in our testing," or "when we worked with client X, we discovered," or "my personal experience showed me that," that is pure gold. That is unique data that the AI craves.
So the messy, real-world failure stories, that's actually what makes you valuable to the robot.
Yes, because it's rare. It's differentiated.
Okay, what about the second one? Experimentation.
This is about creating original data, running your own studies, surveying 500 people in your industry and publishing the results. When you do that, you become the primary and possibly only source for that specific data. The AI has to cite you if it wants to talk about those trends.
That's incredibly powerful. And the last one, effort.
This is simply about doing the hard work that others won't. If a company issues a press release and every other blog just rephrases the release, you are the one who picks up the phone, interviews the CEO, and gets a unique quote. That's effort. That's information gain.
This all ties directly back to EET, doesn't it? Experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness.
It does. And specifically, the authorship component of EET is more important than ever.
Having real named authors on your articles.
Real authors with structured bios and a documented history of expertise. The AI actively checks if the author of a piece is a recognized entity in that field. If Dr. Sarah Smith writes a medical article, and the AI's knowledge graph knows that Dr. Sarah Smith is a cardiologist with 20 years of experience, it assigns a much higher trust score to that content.
As opposed to an article that's just written by admin.
Written by admin is a huge red flag. A search engine journal article from last year noted that AI is being explicitly trained to prioritize firsthand insights from verified practitioners. It's a quality filter. In a world flooded with infinite AI-generated content, verified human expertise is the premium currency.
I saw a really smart strategy mentioned in one of the competitor analysis sources about dividing content into commodity versus differentiator buckets. I thought this was a great way to think about allocating your resources.
It's an excellent workflow. The idea is this: use AI to help you draft the commodity text.
The commodity text being?
The basic definitions, the simple transitions, the stuff that is commonly known and agreed upon, the boilerplate.
The boring stuff.
Essentially, yes. Let the AI do the heavy lifting there. It's good at that. But then you must use your human experts for the differentiators. The unique opinions, the original case studies, the proprietary data, the brand voice.
So you're not banning AI from the writing process. You're using it as a tool to clear the deck so your expensive human experts can focus on doing the high-value work that only they can do.
Exactly. It's a hybrid approach. The machine handles the basics, the human provides the genius.
Sarah, I want to get a little technical for a minute because we keep mentioning this word schema. And I know for some of our listeners, their eyes just glaze over as soon as we say it. It sounds like complicated code.
It is code, but I promise it's not as scary as it sounds.
So why is it non-negotiable now? Why can't we ignore it?
The best way to think of schema is as the official translation layer between your human readable content and the AI. Your article is written for humans to read. Schema is the bit of code that sits in the background and explicitly tells the AI what all that content is and what it means.
Give me another analogy.
Okay, imagine you're at a grocery store. You pick up a plain glass jar of red sauce. Just by looking at the red goop inside, you can guess it's tomato sauce. But is it arrabbiata? Is it vegan? Is it gluten-free? Does it have nuts? You don't know just by looking.
I have to read the nutrition label on the back.
Schema is the nutrition label. Without schema, the AI is just looking at the red goop, your text, and guessing. This looks like it might be a recipe. With schema, you are slapping a digital label on it that says, in a language the machine perfectly understands. This is a recipe. Here is the list of ingredients. Here is the cook time. Here are the calories per serving.
And because the AI doesn't have to guess, it trusts the data more.
Infinitely more. And it can use that structured data to create those rich, helpful results in the search page.
So what are the absolutely essential schemas we need to be thinking about for AEO?
For this purpose, there are a few that are critical. FAQ schema is a massive one. It allows you to explicitly mark up a question and its corresponding answer. You are literally spoon-feeding the AI the exact format it wants.
You're connecting the dots for it.
Perfectly. Then there's article schema, which helps define your headline, author, and publication date. And of course, organization or product schema, which helps define those entities we were talking about earlier.
There was that case study from the '08 source about an e-commerce brand. I think they sold houseplants online.
Yes, the houseplant company. It's a perfect example. They had beautiful product pages with great descriptions, but their click-through rate from search was low. So they implemented product schema.
Which told Google what exactly?
It told Google the price of the plant, whether it was in stock, the average customer rating, and how many reviews it had, all in a structured format.
And what was the result?
They saw a 34% higher click-through rate.
34%, just from adding some code labels.
Because suddenly their search results weren't just a blue link. They were rich snippets. They had the price, the star ratings, the review count, all displayed right there on the Google results page. It made their listing look more trustworthy and informative, so more people clicked.
And of course, technical health still matters. We can't just have a slow, broken website with perfect schema, right?
Not at all. Page speed, mobile optimization, crawlability, that's all still the ticket to entry. If the AI crawler can't access your site efficiently, or if your page takes 10 seconds to load, it's just going to give up. It doesn't matter how brilliant your content is if the door to your library is locked.
And there's this new kind of cutting-edge thing mentioned in the '08 source, LLMs.txt. What is that?
This is a really interesting and emerging standard. You know how we have a robots.txt file, right?
Yeah, the file that tells search engine crawlers which pages they're allowed or not allowed to look at.
Right. LLMs.txt is a proposed new standard that's specifically for large language models. It's a text file where you can give the LLMs a simplified, clean version of your website to read. It's like saying, hey, AI, don't worry about all our fancy design, the pop-ups, the heavy JavaScript. Here's the pure, unadulterated text file of our most important content. Read this instead.
It's like a fast lane just for the robots.
Exactly. It's a VIP entrance. It's still very new, but it's something every technical SEO should be keeping a very close eye on in 2026.
Okay, Sarah. This has all been incredibly helpful. We've redesigned our content. We're using schema. We're focusing on being human. But now we hit the big problem, the measurement crisis.
Ah, yes. The dashboard problem.
My boss comes to my desk. He pulls up Google Analytics. He points to the chart and says, Leo, sessions are down 10% this quarter. Users are down 12%. This AEO thing you sold me on isn't working. We're losing traffic. How do I answer that? How do I prove to him that we are actually winning even when the traditional traffic metrics are going down?
You have to fundamentally change the KPIs. You have to educate your boss that looking at sessions is like measuring a car's performance by the loudness of its horn. It's a metric from 2015. It measures visits, not influence or authority.
So what are the new metrics? What's on the new dashboard that I show the boss?
Semrush and Conductor have put out some great frameworks for this. First and foremost is share of voice.
And how do you track that?
You track how often your brand is mentioned or cited in the AI answers for your most important topics. There are tools now, like Semrush's AI Visibility Toolkit, that can actually do this. They can tell you, for your target list of 100 keywords, your brand was cited in the AI answer 40% of the time this month.
Now, that is a metric you can show a boss. We own 40% of the answers in our industry.
Exactly. It reframes the goal from traffic to market share. Another key one is obviously citations, tracking the specific referral links you do get from AI overviews.
And what about brand search volume? I thought that was a really clever one.
This is a huge one, and it reflects a real change in user behavior. Think about the journey. The user asks the AI, best CRM for freelancers. The AI says, Solosoft is great for invoice integration. The user reads that, closes the chat, opens a new browser tab, and types Solosoft directly into Google.
So the direct traffic to the brand name goes up, even if the organic traffic to that specific blog post goes down.
Precisely. You are building brand fame and recall, you need to look at the correlation. If your informational non-branded traffic drops, but your direct and branded traffic rises, that's a very strong signal that your AEO strategy is working.
And the last one was impression lift.
Yes. This one is a bit more nuanced. In Google Search Console, the impressions from AI overviews are often lumped in with regular impressions. But if you see a page has a massive number of impressions but a lower than usual click-through rate, it doesn't necessarily mean the page is failing.
It could mean the user got their answer right there on the results page.
Exactly. You satisfied the user without them needing to click. You won the mind share. It's harder to put a direct ROI on, but it is real brand value.
So we need a plan. We can't just boil the ocean and do all of this at once.
Oh.
What does a 90-day roadmap look like for a team that's just starting this transition? If I start tomorrow, what's step one?
Let's break it down into a simple 4-phase sprint. Phase 1, the first month, audit.
Auditing what specifically?
Your top 20 or 30 pages, the ones that used to be your traffic workhorses, audit them for answerability. Do they lead with a direct answer? Are they structured with clear question-based headers? Or are they full of that fluffy narrative fluff we talked about?
Okay, so audit first. Phase 2.
Phase 2 is to remediate. Add those direct answer blocks. Go into those top posts and write a crisp 40 to 60 word summary and put it right at the very top under the main heading. Just that one change can have a massive impact.
Phase 3.
Validate your foundations. This is where you fix your authorship and schema. Make sure your About Us page is rock solid and clearly defines your entity. Make sure every author is a real person with a real bio. And then implement the essential schema like FAQ and article schema on your key pages. Label the jars.
And the final phase, Phase 4.
Monitor and measure. Use the new tools to watch for citation lift. Track your branded search volume. See if you start appearing in those AI snapshots for your target terms, and then repeat the cycle with the next batch of content.
It's a clear path. It's definitely work, but it's a clear, logical process.
It is.
You know, we've covered so much today. The huge shift from retrieval to synthesis, the practical answer-first writing style, the evolution from keywords to entities, and that paradox of needing to be more human for the machines. But as we wrap up, I want to go back to something you hinted at earlier.
What's that?
The idea of what a website is even for.
Yeah.
If we follow this entire conversation to its logical conclusion, if we stop chasing blue links and we start trying to own the answer, what does the future of a company website actually look like?
Well, here's the provocative thought I want to leave everyone with. Consider this. In the very near future, your website might not be a primary destination for human users at all.
Whoa. Say that again?
Its main purpose might not be to attract human visitors.
That's a heavy concept, so what is it for?
It might just be a database. A perfectly structured, highly verified, machine-readable database for the AIs that serve your customers. A repository of facts, prices, experiences, and expertise that the AI dips into whenever it needs to answer a question about your industry.
So the AI becomes the primary user interface for my brand. My website is just the back-end API that feeds it information.
Exactly. And with that in mind, here's the question you have to ask yourself. If your website was only ever read by machines, would it still convince them that you are the expert? Is your data structured enough? Is your authority clear enough? Is your expertise undeniable? Because if your site's value is all tied up in pretty design and clever human-centric prose, the machine is going to pass you by.
That is a little scary, but also incredibly clarifying. It cuts through all the vanity metrics and forces you to focus purely on the substance of what you're saying.
Substance over style. That is the mantra for 2026.
Substance over style. I love that. So here's our challenge to you, the learner. Go audit one page today, just one. Pick your best performing blog post or a critical product page. And look at it through this new lens. Does it have a direct answer at the top? Is the author a clear, established expert? Is it structured for snippability?
Apply that answer first method. Add that 40-word block. See what happens.
Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you in the zero-click future.
See you there.
Thanks for listening to Indepth SEO. If this episode added a new perspective, visit indepthseo.com for more thoughtful conversations on how search really works.